Chapter 5 Last Time. In the spirit world, Jeffrey had followed his companion back to his home in hope of getting some sort of treatment, but the spirit's home was empty. His family, had eloped town with a bunch of circus performers, once again. The last time his family took on a contract, they worked for snake charmers. When he told Jeffrey of all their previous contracts, Jeffrey laughed, saying his family was just like him. They loved drama. Jeffrey and his spirit companion finally found the family performing in an isolated town down south. "He's back," his little sisters yelled out, feeling the presence of their brother. "Oh, he is," his mother said, looking up as he flew in. The father simply huffed and continued to play cards with the circus owner. "Welcome back," his youngest sister said, running to embrace him, and he embraced her back. "Wow, you've grown so much," he said, tapping her head. "Let me greet Dad and Mum," he said, letting her go, and walked up to his father and his companion. His mother was sitting beside his father as he played cards. "I see you came back," his father said as his son came close. "Yes, sir," the spirit replied. "You look thin," his mother said, standing up to grab his cheek. "Eek!" she exclaimed, quickly removing her hands from him. She said, unable to believe what she just felt. "What is it, dear?" his father asked. "She carries a human soul," his mother answered. "What?" his father exclaimed and turned to face them. He had been helping the circus owner cheat his teammates at a card game, but that could wait, and it's not like they could see them anyway. "How did this happen?" his father said, touching his cheek and feeling it too. "Who did this to you, Baal?" he asked.
"It's a long story," the spirit answered. "Come, sit down and tell us," his father and mother said, taking him away to the barn. The spirit told his story and how he and Jeffrey had come to be in their current predicament. His father and his mother listened in silence, only asking questions when it was absolutely necessary. "I've understood the situation now," his father said. "Sorry about this, Jeffrey," his father said, speaking to him. "Thank you," Jeffrey answered while the spirit passed the message. "Where's my little brother?" the spirit asked, trying to look around to see if he might see him. He could see his two sisters eavesdropping, but his brother was nowhere to be found. "He got a personal contract," his father answered. "Your brother and his talents," his mother added. "After you left, he went all out. There was no one to look up to, so he pushed his limits. He works for some aristocrat on the other side of the sea." "I see. That boy has really gone far," the spirit said proudly. "I can't fall behind." "What do you plan to do now?" his father asked, noticing him getting up. "I'll repay my debt," the spirit said. "So you're going to do it?" his father asked. "Yeah," he answered. "Thank you for everything so far," he said. "Who thanks their parents?" his father said, hitting his back. "Well, I've got to go. The boss is losing again," he said, and vanished. The spirit's mother came close and placed her palm on his son's cheek one more time. "Take care of yourself, okay?" his mother said. "And no running away this time. You've got to try your hardest. You heard me?" his mother said, pulling his ear. "Ow, ow, ow! Yes, ma'am," the spirit playfully cried out and answered. "Good," his mother nodded. "Now go. You don't have much time left. You have to leave quickly if you want to make it." "Yes," he said, remembering he was short on time. "I'll see you guys soon," he said, waving at his sisters who were hiding, and took off. "Where are we going? And what was that about time?" Jeffrey asked. "We're going to a spirit spot," the spirit answered, increasing his speed. "Oh, shouldn't be long then," Jeffrey said, relaxing. "Where is it?" he asked. "It doesn't have a location," the spirit answered, increasing his speed. "Then how do we get there?" Jeffrey asked. "We'll have to reach there by speed and will," the spirit said. "There's no how I can explain it in human language." "Okay," Jeffrey said, "but at least it won't take long. I want to see Haley soon," he added. "It'll just be a few hours tops," the spirit said, raising his speed even farther. "Cool. What are we going to do there?" Jeffrey asked. "We're going to turn you into a spirit." "What?" Jeffrey exclaimed. Meanwhile, the curses and abuses were raising for Haley. Spirits felt their own kind, so they were always around her. There was no denying her being a witch now. Even her family had abandoned her. She had nowhere else to go when Eric Fabuyak came to pick her up. He only asked her for one thing, the truth. Her desperately wanting this child to be born told him everything, and he took her under his care. His father had passed on most of the company to him, plus his dead cousin's share. He was now the only heir, and with that came enormous amount of power. Keeping one pregnant girl was nothing for him, but the spirits were gathering too much. The birth of something so human, yet so spirit-like, was a joy for them. They saw him as a bridge to the humans and wanted him to come into the world quickly.
At first, they had tried to scare the mother, but Haley's will was strong. She never once flinched. From her perspective, the spirit that possessed her Jeffrey was far more terrifying, but she was devastated all the same. It was almost time for her to deliver her child, yet there was still no sign of Jeffrey. Yet the baby still said every single time, "Daddy is all right." She even believed she was going mad at a point, but kept it to herself. The spirit and Jeffrey had just gotten to the spot when the spirit quickly sat down and began to meditate. "You too," he said. "Me too?" Jeffrey asked. "Yeah, you have to free your mind and allow this energy pouring out to merge us into one individual," the spirit said. Wait, Jeffrey said. "Are you planning to die and give me your body? Is that why you wanted to see your family first?" Jeffrey asked. "Yes and no," the spirit answered. "It's not like I'm dying, but it's not like I'm going to keep living the way I was. So, yes and no." "Don't worry about it," the spirit said, cutting him off. "We were supposed to die, and you are already dead, so we'll simply die living together for as long as time exists. Sounds like an epic tale, don't you think?" the spirit asked. "Yeah, it's not like I can change your mind. And Haley," Jeffrey said, "forgive me for being selfish this one time." "Don't worry about it," the spirit said, reassuring him. They both took a deep breath and relaxed. The energy began to enter, and they felt excruciating freedom, then pain, and eventually darkness. They simply wanted to leave something behind. In limbo, they heard a cry from Haley and their child and wished to protect it. Eric's help was not enough, so he enlisted the help of Mickey, James, and Japheth. The entire town was looking for Haley. Malik had done it again. He realized that although he lost Jeffrey's spirit, he could make up for it if he had his son. So he spread more rumors that the coming of this child was going to bring chaos and destruction, that they had all witnessed the signs. The end was near. Haley had begged the spirits, but they kept coming to greet her. The peak of it all was when a great water spirit came to greet her. It brought a tsunami with it bearing its entire kingdom. "I play the king is born in good health," it had said, offering her some gifts and parting. Every spirit was patronizing her unborn son. On the day of her labor, the weather went crazy and the wind would not cease. Haley was in the room with a doctor and 2 nurses, slightly far from any real civilization, yet crowds of people somehow managed to find them, with Malik and his brother leading them. Eric's guards helped him, but it was taking everything they had to keep the angry mob at bay. They wanted to end her and her baby. The doctor yelled, "Push!" again and again in his desperate need to see this child come into this world and prove all these fanatics wrong. When he saw the head come out, he gently grasped the boy and pulled him out. Then the mob broke in. They managed to push the Eric aside and made it to the delivery room. The doctor passed on the baby to his mother and stood with his arms wide open to stop the crowd. "It's a normal child," he yelled, but it was in vain. Malik walked up to him and stabbed him. "A devil is a devil," Malik said, watching the life fade from the doctor's eyes. The nurses, scared for their lives, stayed away and watched as Malik and his elder brother walked up to the weakened Haley.
They tried to pull her baby from her arms, but she refused to let go with tears in her eyes. "Leave us alone," she said weakly. Malik smiled, feeling the boy's potential as he dragged him away. Haley felt a chill and smiled. "He will soon be here," she whispered as she closed her eyes. Suddenly, there was a lightning strike, and Malik and his brother were dead. There was a bright, glowing light, and it was holding the child. Everyone ran, screaming that she had summoned the devil. Jeffrey and the spirit had merged in their last moments, and now a new individual was born of both of them. The spirit's last wish was that he carries on his name, Baal, while Jeffrey's own was that he carries on his will. And so he did. Here he was holding his brother, his weak half-human brother, while he was the weak half-spirit brother. The baby squealed in his hands and started to cry. Baal turned quickly to Haley, but she was no more. Her life force had faded. She was gone. It was already a miracle that she had managed to deliver the child. There was no helping it. Baal looked at Eric and the gang who had come in to see what was going on. "You protected her?" he asked them as they walked in. "We did," Eric answered, his cousin, seeing the resemblance. "Then can you protect and raise him as well?" Baal said, handing him the child. "Of course," Eric said, collecting him. "And me as well?" Baal said, shrinking back to a tiny ball of light and entering the boy. "Okay," Eric said, looking at the weird scenario. Then he remembered Haley and walked up to the table, suspecting she was bed, but the big smile she had on her face put him at ease. "This will be the last time I fail you guys," Eric said, holding up the child. "This will be the last time."
You've just finished listening to a chapter of Noise Origin. This is Blank's Library, where every story reaches new heights. If you're ready to see how this journey ends, you can find the full book right now on Amazon Kindle. Make sure to follow and turn on notifications so you're here when the next chapter drops. Thanks for listening.